Let's see another problem, the set matrix zeros. It's a medium level problem, and in this problem, if you see here in example 1, there is a matrix m by n matrix given, and when we see a 0, when you find the 0 in any cell, then that's corresponding column and the row will be turned to 0, and that's we want to do that. So the way to solve is, if you can have another matrix same to same, like maybe one matrix, and then we can copy all the elements of this matrix to another matrix, and then after that we can start scanning. And if you see in a row, like if you see in a row, if there is a 0 in a row, then for the particular row and the column we can directly go to the another matrix and then we can set to 0. So that's the one solution, but in that case we are using extra memory, we are not doing in place. But here that's the easiest solution, but here we have to solve this in a in place, so within this only we need to do that. So let's see, one of the approach is we can have one additional row here, and then additional row and one column, and in the and then what we do when we find 0 in any cell, then you go and mark that that column 0, and again that row 0. So we can mark this 0 in this way, and the next time the first of all we just traverse every place and mark that 0, and the next time when we traverse we also and when we go to each cell we can check the corresponding the additional the row and the column whatever we have allocated. If you find the 0 over there, then we can make this cell 0. So that's we can do this. So in that case, like if here is a one row, and for this 0, if you see 0, then this one turns to 0, this one turn to 0, this one turn to 0, and again here if there is a 0 and we traverse this row, then we'll check if there is a 0 here, then that means we'll make it 0 and 0. So that's the logic we want to use. That's first we'll mark, and then second we'll set to 0. So let's traverse this for I0, I less than matrix I plus plus, j is 0, and j less than length of matrix I j plus plus. So that's the one traversal. We need additional memory for the row and the column. So for the row, then the size should be for the row length of matrix, and the column matrix 0. So we have the row and the column, and then here we'll check if aij is 0. So if any place, like come and if you encounter this cell, let's say, and then if ai is 0, so in that case we'll mark row. So we have the row here, so row I, we put it 0, and also we'll put column j is 0. So in this way we already marked additional space and mark it 0, and then next time we'll set that to 0. So let's copy this paste here. So again we'll iterate through each cell, and then we'll go to the each cell, and when we come to this cell, let's say, so yeah, so each cell will go and will check if AI, not AI, but this one row I, if row I is equal to 0, if the particular cell in a row has 0, so we'll come here and this will find, okay, that's row I is 0, because if when we come to this place, that is by index base, this is the one index row, and the column is also 1. So in this one column, if there is a 1, or in this row here, if there is a 1, so the row I is 0, and or column J is equal to 0. If that's 0, then in that case, so if you come here again, at least we find here 0, so we'll make it 0. If you come here, we'll see 0 here, we'll mark it 0. If you come this place, then again on the top there was 0, so we'll mark this also 0. So that's AI and AJ is equal to 0. That's all, and then we can return matrix. Let's run it. And here also. This is not A, but that's a matrix. And here also. There is no return, that's in place, so we do not have to return anything. If row I is 0 or column J, matrix I and J, so row I, okay. So the problem is here, initially, like we initialize this row, or we created this row and column. So in this case, the default value is 0 0 everywhere, so that's why it turned everything to 0. So we need to initialize some value in this row. So what I'm doing for is I'm just initializing. Initially I'm going to initialize with -1. So I0 I less than length of row I plus plus, and row I is equal to -1. So initialize the same way we can initialize the column also. And then it will work now. Accepted, submit. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you.